Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? All right. Okay, so we have two portals, as I mentioned during the orientation day. One is we call e-learn. Can you see this is e-learning? This is for the conventional mode students, which means that there is no decode here. One is for ODL portal, right? So with the decode here, I'm hearing some background noise. Let me check. Is it my problem or actually there's someone didn't mute the mic? Wait, let me screen through. USM June 2024-08. Who is that? Please use your real names. I mean, don't use your email address because we can't recognize you. Right? Yes. Okay. You muted the mic already. Okay. So let me share my screen again. Okay. Actually, I can see that the content are actually the same. Okay. The content are actually the same. Then, but the problem is so for this semester for the ODL portal, actually when I tried to upload all of the materials, I found some difficulties on that. So that's why you can see that the material is not yet complete. Okay, so let me show you the completed version. Okay, so my style actually is I will use the flipped classroom method. Okay, flipped classroom method means that in my live session, actually I will more focusing on hands-on. Okay, so if let's say I always like talk on the slide and so on, so I think that you would not be interested, right? Because this is a technical course, right? So I assume that you don't have, a strong background. Of course, we have some of you are from computer sciences, right? So, but some of you are from communication, are from management. So you have no clue that actually what this technical course is, maybe what Python is, actually what machine learning is. Okay. Anywhere, are you from ODL or conventional? Any? ODL doesn't require attendance. Okay, so you no need to mark attendance. Okay, conventional for attendance first week is I will mark for you. Second weeks onward, you will mark yourself at the e-learn portal there. Okay, so I will disclose a link at the e-learn portal start from next week. Annie, thank you. Okay, so my style is flipped classroom method, which means that I will more focusing on hands-on. So because I believe that a technical course, you will only learn it and experience it during the hands-on session. Okay. So why I am going to say so is because that if let's say I explain the slide to you, maybe you are easy to remember, right? Then maybe after 1 week, then you will forget already, because you don't have that kind of experience to, try to type the code or hands-on, then you won't feel that actually the satisfaction, right? So you are trying to imagine that you know nothing now, but at the end of the semester, you can use the Python programming code in order to build the machine learning models and predict for something. It's amazing, right? Okay, but you have to bear with me and try to follow my steps, right? So that my role at here is actually I'm going to bring you to the world of programming and machine learning. I'm not going to spoon feed you like, okay, so this is 1, 2, and 3, but instead I'll give you a chance to explore. Right? Maybe it's like, maybe for the first 2 class, I will bring you, right? I will guide you how to use the tools and so on, how to use Jupyter Notebook, right? How to install. After that, you start to type the first line of the code onwards. So I will give chance to you to explore. Then you are going to explore the mistake, right? So find the mistake, for example, that, oh, I just missed 1 comma, so what will be happen? What will be the error, the errors that I will get or something like that. Right, in order to know that actually how important is the case sensitive for the coding, then how are you going to pull out the coding from the library? So in order to, build the machine learning models, right? So at the end of the day, you will know the end-to-end process. So at least you can start your own project by yourself without the help of others. Okay, so this is what I want. Okay, so the only things that we have to fear is fear itself, right? So if let's say you don't have any technical background, don't scare, right? So don't fear the code, but willing to accept something new, then will actually help you in order to learn something faster, right? So my course, I will always provide a code, right? So for the course, then I will try to make my e-learn on ODR portal interesting. I mean, at least from my view, is quite interesting lah. Okay, so I will put some of the pictures, something like that. For example, there's a picture, right? So it's from real Python, so I'm not the one who draw it. Okay, so it's a picture. So in order to let you know about the learning objective and something, so I will give you a recording video link and so on. Okay, so that you can follow step by step. Okay, this is my style, but doesn't mean that this is others' lecturer style as well. Some of the lecturers maybe will not decorate the e-learn in this manner, but it doesn't mean that they are not professional. Okay, so this is just my interest. I want to do in that way because I want to attract my students. Don't get too bored in my class, since that data programming is the most technical course, okay, in this program. Okay, so if you have any question, I can always ask me lah. So this QR code, you already got it, right? So most of you already joined. So let's see about the teaching plan, okay? So for the teaching plan, actually, this course code called ABW505D for ODL and ABW505 for conventional. So data programming is the first part. Predictive analytics is the second part, which means that the first 7 weeks will focus on Python. Second 7 weeks will focus on machine learning. Okay, so bear in mind, this course is more focusing on machine learning. The purpose that you learn Python code is because you want to use it to build the machine learning models, right? That's why in the Python programming part, I won't teach you like too deep in about the knowledge, right? So I won't teach you how to derive the formula, but instead I will focusing on more. I will focus more on the application, right? So to minimize the gap, which means that after you have taken this course, after you graduated, you can directly apply that what you have learned in your workplace. This is what I want to see. Okay, so 70% will be the coursework because it's quite technical. So 30% will be the final exam. So which means that if let's say 70% you got A, then 30% you don't need to be too worried already, right? Because a big portion is from the coursework. Okay, so the class will be from Friday 6 to 9, right? So for ABW505D. So someone may curious that why I'm starting from 7:30 p.m., right? Like just like 1.5 hours, right? Because as I mentioned, I'm going to focus more on the hands-on sessions. So another 1.5 hours, right? So I will upload the slide for you to refer together with the recording video, right? So that I don't like stress 3 hours in order to see my face, all right? This is my way. I mean that this is my way, lah. So I just try to make my course more flexible, and I mean in order to let you absorb the knowledge easily, lah. Okay, so the Friday and Tuesday, this is for conventional mode. Okay, so it's not for. And because yeah, some of the classes will be asynchronous, right? So only for the live class, I will start from 7:30, right? So in order to you can no need to rush for traffic, then you can actually back to home. Then after bathe, after your prayer breaks, then you can only start learning. Okay. So now see if you can read yourself lah. So this is a learning outcome. Suppose that after this course, you have taken this course, right? So this is what you will learn, right? So what I want to see is you are going to differentiate the various features of the data set and source for predictive analytics model for business application. And also you can prepare the predictive analytical model independently. Okay. Then this is the 14 chapters. I may not follow all of the 14 chapter in order, right? So instead, I will try to attract some of the chapters in order to put in the live class, and also some of the chapter put in the asynchronous, which means the recording video, right? But at the end, those 14 chapters, I will deliver all to you, okay? Then this is the final exams. We have 4 big questions. So one big question consists of 25 marks. So total up is 100 marks, 4 questions. So each question actually you will have like A, B, C, D, right? So like for example, 1A, 1B, 1C, and so on. Okay. So for the project will be 30%. This is a group project. ODL and conventional don't mix. Okay, don't mix. Because ODL we have around 100 students, so it's strong enough to build your own team. you no need to mix with the conventional mode student, right? So conventional mode student, I will put in one sheet, and ODL I will put in another sheet. That's why you team up your team by yourself lah. Don't mix in the, in a different mode. Okay. So assignment will be the group project as well. Good questions, right? So you ask in advance, but I will answer you later, okay? Because later I will explain to you lah. Okay. So yeah, I can tell the answer also lah. 5 to 6. Okay, 5 to 6. You may, you may be curious that why, if let's say like 300 students, I only group up 5 to 6, but not like 9 to 10. So I think that because if let's say I group up 9 to 10, right? So I think 4 to 5 members will be the silent member for sure. I don't think that a group actually such a group project can complete in one sem needs a big group in order to process that. Okay, so I rather mark more projects, but I also hope that I hope more that you can learn more, right? So in the group project, instead of you just pass everything to the group member, right? So try to commit, right? Try to be commit in your group project, okay? So I can spend more time to mark more project, no problem, huh? Okay, so for the midterm test is 20%, huh? So total up is 70%. So all is group lah, project and assignment. So you will have one group project, one group assignment. Then after that, you have one midterm test. Midterm test is individual. Okay, 70%. So this is the grade lah. So this is the grade that we have. Then this is the rubrics that you have. You can read for yourself. Okay, so this is about the course outline lah. No, conventional is different. Actually, for the first 2 weeks, you join at 7:30 only, right? So for the week 3 and above, Dr. Hanan will take over. Okay, will take over. So she will start at 6. Okay, so that one I will make announcement in the conventional group. Okay, so don't confuse. That's why, because mix of students, so I have to like tell 2 versions. So make sure that you listen to me properly. So don't mix up and make some unreal statements after that. Okay, if let's say you have any question not clear, you can always WhatsApp me. Okay, so after that, from here, installation step Anaconda. So I'm very grateful because some of you already tried to install and try to explore on the tool. All right, so no worries. Actually, because next week I will guide you step by step. Okay, this week you just try to install first. Then after that, you can stop there. If let's say you're willing to wait for me lah. So after 1 week, which means that next Friday, I will try to hands-on and teach you how to use the tools for one time. So start from 3rd week and onwards, then you can try to explore already. So it's very easy. From here, you can see the download and install, right? So for those that still not installed, no worries. You have 1 week time. You can just click this link. Then you will find that 404 page not found, but you don't give up yet. Don't give up. Then you can see there's a free download here. So when you see the free download, wait. Okay, so when you see the free download, you just click here. Okay, so you can see that ask you to provide the email distributor and something, right? You just click skip the registration. Okay, so when you skip, so you can see that the screen is here already. So this is open source. Okay, open source, which means that you doesn't need to pay. Right? So if let's say you are a Windows user, you just click this. If let's say you are the Mac OS user, you just click this. Choose the graphical installer. Don't choose the command line installer. Okay, command line installer will, the interface will be very boring. So you just use the graphical installer. Okay, so once you install it, then after that, you can launch lah. So launching time actually is depends lah. Depends. You can see that actually I have like right at here, right? So for the first time, maybe you will launch for some time. Depends on the spec of your laptop. Okay, so if let's say you waiting, it's for waiting a longer time, so actually it's normal lah. Unless that 1 whole day cannot move, then that one you have to restart your laptop lah. Okay, so this is the WebEx link that we have. The class time for ODL, if let's say there is a WebEx live class, I will inform before the class every week. That's why you won't miss. Okay, So if let's say this week is async, I will inform that this week will be async, no class, right? So that you won't like wait yourself, wait alone, something like that. So this is a WebEx link for every week. If let's say there's a live class, same link. So this is a reference book. So I have one Python reference book. I have one machine learning reference book because this course is like half, right? So I won't follow one reference book, totally follow one complete reference book. Because if I follow one complete reference book, normally the authors is from the technical background, right? So if let's say I just use the method to teach you, which means that actually I'm teaching the computer science students. This will make you very, very difficult. Okay, so that's why the main reference for the materials is always you need to refer to my slides and also for the hands-on session material. Okay, so the reference book is the third option. Okay, then if let's say you want to do more exercises, then you can refer to the reference book. Okay, so you may think that why now it's 2024, so I'm still using the 2016 book. It's not because I'm lazy to update. It's because I have read a lot of the Python books, really a lot. Only this Python book actually can let you learn Python easily, because the way that the author actually describe the code or something is very interesting. Okay, but this author, I'm not sure that why only have, come out with the first edition book, then is not continue with the second edition. Okay, so for me, I think that this one is a treasure for me, and it's a dictionary of Python for me, right? So that's why I'm still using this book. Okay, so of course, if you want a newer book, you can always search for others ebooks lah. This is up to you, right? So, but I'm strongly recommend for this book. Very good. Okay, especially that you don't have any Python background. Yeah. Okay, so from here is an introduction to machine learning. I forgot to change the names. Wait. Okay, any questions before I start the first chapter? You want to come face to face? What you mean is you want to join face to face class? Actually cannot, right? So if you want to join face to face class, you have to change. You have to change the mode, right? So it's not that because we are too mean or too cruel that don't want you to mix. It's because that based on the university regulation, this is two different programs. Just try to imagine that, you are attending this master course, then you suddenly go to another master course and attend the class. It's not logic, right? Okay, so normally cannot lah, right? So if you want to come to face-to-face class, you need to change your mode to conventional mode. Yes, we will learn matplotlib, you are right. Seaborn, yes, we will explore Seaborn. I'm unable to see the slide. Yes, because I'm hide the slide. I didn't hide the slide. Let me see. You cannot see the slide. Lesson 1 slide. Let me see. I didn't hide you. It's okay because normally my practice is I will disclose after the lesson, right? So don't ask that, can I get the slide before the class or something, right? So I will disclose after the lesson. I didn't hide one, but I'm not sure that why you cannot see that, right? So, but it's okay. So any other questions want to ask? So if no, I can start. Okay, suppose that I need to start Python, right? So for this week, but I don't want you to be too burdened. That's why, as I mentioned, the main objective is want to build the machine learning models. That's why I need to let you know that what machine learning is. Okay? So I start the lesson 1 with introduction to machine learning first. Okay, machine learning, right? So any one of you heard about this term before? You can thumbs up. Yes, right? Okay, so like I just want to ask one question. Is it all of you are Generation Z? The millennials, or some of you are actually, any one of you are from Generation Y? Why, right? don't have baby boomers, got? Don't have, right? I mean, most of you are from generation Y, huh? Okay, so generation Y, suppose that you know some history of machine learning. So let me explain. Okay, so machine learning is actually very simple. Is we just ask the machine to learn, right? So when we ask the machine to learn, so this is the standard definitions that may come out in your exams, but if through the explanation, I'm not going to read the slides. Okay, so machine learning, I just give you that why we need machine learning is because you want to make the process more effective. Okay, in order to release the human burden. So this is the main thing, right? So all of the projects related to AI machine learning, you will find one crew. Actually, there's those one, the process effectiveness and also cost minimization, right? Yeah, you have to do coding. You are right. So Kalai, don't worry, because along the semester, I will just try to feed you some of the information so you will get it. Okay, this is just our first class, okay? Be chill, be calm, yeah? Okay, so so you can see that all of the companies, right, regardless is the public institution, regardless is industry or some of the companies, right? So every project that they want actually only hit two objectives. So first is the process effectiveness, the second is the cost minimization. So no matter that they have set how many mission and vision and so on, you will realize that any project without these two components, they will reject. Of course, as an investor, actually you want to gain income, right? Suppose that if let's say you can minimize the cost, which means that you can minimize the time as well. So in this case, I mean the process will be more effective. This is what they want. Try to imagine 2 hours production can reduce to 1 hour. 50% increase, right? So in this case, they can use that 50% of time, do another things and invest on another project or the process. Okay, so they will gain more income. Okay, so this is where AI and machine learning comes in. Okay, so now I think that if let's say you didn't heard about machine learning, of course you heard about AI, right? Artificial intelligence. But actually artificial intelligence is in a very broad scope, right? So of course that any one of you heard AI, right? Right? Okay, so actually AI is not emerged at here, right? So AI actually emerged on 1950s. You can't imagine that, okay, actually AI 70 years ago already exists. But why, when we enter IL 4.0, AI will only become the buzzword and the hotcakes? Okay, so let me tell you some of the overview of AI. So actually AI is invented by one scientist called Alan Turing, right? So that time, Alan Turing actually names this is not as AI. It names as a intelligent machinery, okay? So intelligent machinery, so it's like the scientists want to like, try to invent one artificial brain, to help to release the human effort, something like that. But that time when he actually proposed for this idea, right, the world become crazy, especially for the mathematician, the scientists, and also for the statistician. Because in that era, the mathematician and statistician need to prove the formulas. Everything like Einstein, right? So they like try to invent some of the formula. They have to like step to derive why 1 + 1 = 2 or something. Everything based on evidence, right? So when you just propose something like you want to come up with a fake brain, an artificial brain, right? So there's no proof or no evidence of how it could be, right? So suppose it's a failed project, right? So no one trusts for this scientist, and actually at some time, right? So there's no one actually want to invest on such project. So when they heard about the term AI, they will reject. Okay, the investor is not willing to invest on the AI project. That's why we have one period called AI winter. Okay, so but why now become so hit? It's because of the input. What means for the input? The input is a data. Because we have data, so we make everything easier, right? You just try to imagine 30 years ago, do we have data? Yes, we have, but our data is in hard copy, right? Even though your parents write the love letters, like the chef books in recipe, everything is in hard copy. Am I right? There's no online. There's no computer, right? Window, emerge on 95. Right? So when everything is a hard copy, right, how are we going to run the project? Who are willing actually try to transform the hard copy into the soft copy, convert one by one? No one will do that, right? And it's very time consuming. It's not because that the people 30 years ago is not brilliant enough and cannot think out of this idea. It's because that it's not working. They cannot work smoothly, right? So when the emerge of the, of the computer, the smartphone, and so on, especially for the database and also for the cloud computing service, the data can be stored one by one, and all of the hard copy is converted since start 2007, right? Like all of the reference book, all of the like journal articles, a very old journal articles in 1958 or something, they try to convert everything into the soft copy already through some of the dignified platform, for example, Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, and so on. So they have the soft copy. So from now on, we have one new platform called social media platform. Facebook emerged. Now we have Douyin, Xiaohongshu, TikTok, right? We have Instagram and so on. That kind of social media platform can supply the data every single second, right? So the companies start to have their own database, their production line 24 over 7 hours, they just produce and they can get the data timely, right? So when we have the data as an input, so now all of the methods, the techniques, the AI and so on, they can use. They can use easily, right? That's why Amazon Web Service is so hit. Do you know how long Amazon Web Service actually tried to build the platform for the cloud computing? Anyone have a guess? How long how long they took in order to make it matured? For the system. Anyone? 20 years, correct. Why you are so good? Okay, so yes, they took 20 years. You get 70 years. I'm not sure. But Amazon Web Service, okay, Amazon, when they introduce cloud computing, right? The cloud computing actually they just try to do research and invest for 20 years, right? So you can see there's such strong service. That's why under the cloud computing, my AWS is the first. Okay, because the system is so matured, right? So all of the system and everything they just try to evolve, even though a normal ERP system, right? So like SAP or something, they just try to embed, right? So the machine learning and the data visualization component and everything inside so that they can have an end-to-end process instead of they just store the data. Okay, so this is why AI becomes so hit, right? So of course, AI mostly is because that we have like ChatGPT, right? Okay, so ChatGPT is a very good tool. If let's say you want to find some information, of course, right? So, but you know that actually they have mentioned that the high quality data will be used up next year. What means for high quality data? So high quality data is something that like the thesis, like the journal articles, with the scholar professionals produce one, right? So that one is called as a high quality data. That's why when you search for something, it can easily pop out and give you, once you search for the keywords, right? So they will give you the suggestion already. Okay, so this is called as a high quality data, which means the structured data. Okay, so when used up, so I think that they will think of some techniques in order to improve the unstructured data so that in order to continue the tools, right? Okay, so artificial intelligence 1950 already got. Then after that, over the years, they found that this term actually is too broad because AI actually include the cyber physical system as well, include the IoT and so on, 5G, everything can link with AI, right? So they think that actually AI, when you want to learn, you must have an entry level. It's just like AI is a university level, then you need to have one primary school level, right? So that entry level is called as machine learning. Okay, so in the field of business analytics, most of the applications can use machine learning. Okay, because you are deal with the structured data, especially when you have an Excel sheet filled up with full of the data and rows and so on, right? So that kind of data is called as a structured data. Machine learning is more than enough. Okay, so after that, when you learn machine learning, so there is one expert thinks that actually machine learning can improve and deep dive into some of the concept and make it faster and they try to create some of the very strong library, for example, Keras and TensorFlow and so on. So they call it as deep learning, start from 2010. Okay, so this is why now machine learning is so hit, and now you are in my class in order to learn for this. Okay, then why we need machine learning? Why we need? Is it that without machine learning we cannot perform? Is it right? So but just ask you a few questions. So can you devise a set of rules to do this? If I ask you to predict and recommend a list of songs to a user from a catalog of 50 million songs, of course you can, but how much time that you need? 50 million songs, so even though we have like 500 groups, try to listen the songs, so how many days that they need to use? 1 month or 3 weeks? But after 3 weeks, 50 million songs, you have to filter, analyze, and so on. So finally, you choose the best song. So I can say that after 3 weeks, there's a new song comes out already, right? So in this case, how are we going to compete with others, right? So in this case, something with time consuming, we need to ask machine learning to do. Just lump everything inside. So I mean, a few seconds, maybe like 30 minutes, they can give you the answer already. Okay, so are you going to beat the world champion at playing chess? How many steps that possible that actually the chess can move? A lot, right? So how are you going to analyze? Okay, learn all of the steps together. So how about you ask machine to learn? Any one of you watch football? If talking chess maybe a bit boring, right? So every one of you watch football? You can thumbs up. No one watch football. Okay, you watch football, right? Okay, you watch which country one? Is it EBL or La Liga or Korean drama? Of course, very good. Yeah, can be very, very chill. Okay, so football, right? Actually, they perform analytics as well. You don't believe, actually football is a human, activities, right? But they can record every single action. Like for example, if I thought Lionel Messi, right? So as an example, so how Messi move, right? So they can just record all the steps together, then they make the analyze, right? So after that, they just try to tell Messi that okay, in this second you perform not so good because of you use this kind of action, something like that. So maybe you can improve, right? Then they can use the business analytics in order to find a talent, right? From those unknown country or something, they are able to collect the data, then they find the talent and use analytics to train the youth player. So when they become adult players, right? So they will be perform very, very well. And of course, with this kind of technology, they can save lots of money. Instead of like Manchester United spend 100 million to buy someone who cannot perform, but actually they just need to spend 15 to 20 millions, right, in order to buy the youth player, then train them, become a world-class player. After that, they sell out to Chelsea for 100 millions, for example. You see, right? So this is the ROI when you are using the analytics power. Okay. So for Google Translate, I know that for the translation, everyone is using Google Translate, right? You will find that actually previous Google Translate, when you want to transform from, for example, English to Malay, it's not so accurate one, right? But for now, their performance will become better and better because they embed the components of machine learning. The same like your Waze always can find the shortest route, right? They are using machine learning. About the Grab food, can have 3 options, right? Express, then you have the normal, you have the slower, because they have machine learning, right? They can allocate that which driver is near to your area, and at the same time, they can take 2 orders and so on in order to save the manpower, right? So in order to make the process more effectiveness, machine learning. Okay, so where does machine learning shine? Tasks that are almost impossible to program with rules is we can use machine learning. If you have something like with the SOP that step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you ask machine learning to help you, right? So that's why machine is actually easy to replace for the human day routines. So if let's say now you are working, you found that every day you are doing the same thing. So one day, which means that like today I'm going to do this 8 steps. So tomorrow doing the same 8 steps, something like that, right? So for one day, your work will be replaced by machine learning. Will be replaced by machine for sure. Okay, so that's why when you search for the top 10 skill, instead of analytical skill, they also promote for the problem solving skill and creativity skill, because only this kind of job is difficult to be replaced, right? So in Malaysia, yeah, maybe not so fast lah, because we are not a developed country. So if let's say like China, a developed country, everything goes very fast. Okay, so you must actually try to always upskill and reskill yourself to make sure that you can compete, right? So in the working environment. The task that cannot accomplish by human, of course, human can accomplish, just that time consuming, right? So in this case, something that need to spend much time to complete one, you ask machine to help. Of course, with a huge amount of data, we don't have time to analyze the data, then you ask the machine to help. This is why we need machine learning. Okay, so machine learning works on various types of data. Of course, the first one, social media platform data. So how many WhatsApp messages that you send out and receive one day? You are not going to count it, but those are data. If let's say I just want to use your data in order to do for something or invent for something, we can use, right? Second is, of course, the structured data, like your business data. Third is like the text recognition, right? Something like you capture the text, then the text actually can give you some of the definition and so on. Just like some of the translation device, you just try to scan the words, so it will translate to you, right? Text recognition. Then voice recognition now is very, very popular. It's just, for example, for this WebEx, right? So I'm talking, right? So I'm talking, so they will record my video, right? Then record my voice, right? So after that, they have a transcript, they translate. Of course, it's not 100% accurate lah, based on the accent of the people as well. Okay, so it's like YouTube, right? So YouTube can actually generate the caption. So you found that a few years ago, YouTube don't have that kind of function one, right? It's just that now only have because of the machine learning, right? So because of the AI lah. So now even you no need to present anymore, right? You just put your slide in one tool, right? So after that, you write the script. Then after that, the people will, the apps will help you to narrate the slides and present the slides. Okay, if you are too shy enough, not there to present. Okay, so this will make the life easier, right? But the skill must be there as well. So the last one will be the image recognition. So any one of you use Shopee or Lazada apps? You can like hands up, all dear student. Right, so now Shopee, when you want to find something, right, you don't know about the names, so what are you going to do? If let's say you have that kind of product, you want to you want to purchase again, right? But you're not sure about the keywords and the names, so what can you do? There's a camera there, right? You can capture the photo, then it will lead you to the, similar products, right? So this kind is called as a image recognition, and also of course when we want to unlock for the fingerprint, or we want to using our face to unlock, right? So this one also related to machine learning. Like for the fingerprint one, if let's say the tools is like when you want to set the fingerprint, right? So they will ask you to try from different direction one. That one is have a machine learning function one, which means that from even different angle, you can still unlock the phone or unlock the device. That one has a machine learning function. Some of the cheaper one is like scan one time only, then that one is no machine learning function. Okay, so it depends on the spec and the price of the device as well. It's not all fingerprint actually has the machine learning function. Okay, so I thought machine learning, right, give so many examples there, but actually what is machine learning models, right? So machine learning models actually is considered as a black box. Why I can say black box? And this black box is actually not recognized by the statistician and mathematician. Okay, when you find some extreme statistician, right, so they will not recognize machine learning. They think that actually machine learning is just a forecasting, right? So actually, when I consider as a black box, right, it It's the situation that we know about the formula, we know about the input, we know about the data set, but we don't know how the machine trained the model. There will be a huge probabilities that how the machine trained the model and we cannot guess it. Right? You just try to imagine a random model, right? So 1 to 100, you ask the machine to guess, okay, 0 to 100. It's very hard to get the correct answer, am I right? When you want to have when you only have a one guess. Right? So this is a kind that we know about how it works, but actually we don't know how it trained and why the machine provide this output. Okay? Yeah, of course. For the accuracy doubt is actually they have some kind of the evaluations metric in order to evaluate one. So later I will give you some of the example. So if let's say I give you one example, if I want to solve this problem using the rule-based program, what means for the rule-based program? Rule-based program that you set the rules. For example, like the for loop, decision structure, representation structure, and so on. That one is called as a rule-based program. If I have only two factors, which means the mileage and vehicle age, and I just want to sell my car, right? So I set the mileage is, let's say, is less than 150k kilometers, and my vehicle age is less than 10 years, so I will get the higher resale value. Simple, right? Because only two factors, it's easier for you to plan it, right? So now if let's say I give you 13 factors, include other accessory, for example, number of doors, a few types of service requirements, how much time you need to build the rule-based program? What about that you ask the machine to help you? All right. Anyone of you applied credit card? Generation X and Y, of course you have credit card, am I right? How are you going to apply your credit card? Anyone? How to apply credit card? No? What is the advertisement posted by the bank when you want for the credit card application? Through online, right? Through online, then they say that okay, 2 to 3 days you can know about the results of it. But don't you think that the staff is so efficient? Because they have one system having to filter out the irrelevant application. Right? You just try to imagine previously when you apply credit card, you need to go to the branch. You fill up the form in hard copy. Then the receptionist try to type in key in your details and so on. Then you need to wait for like 3 weeks and 1 month to get the results. Right? So, but now apply it for the online, then it's just like 10 minutes, fill up your names, occupations, marital status, payslip, salary, and so on. Then they have all of your data already. Your data is already saved. Once you key in, they already saved, even though you didn't click submit. Okay, if you think that like I fill up at at halfway, I just cancel it. But the one that you fill up actually is already in their database. So sometimes they will ask you that, will you still want to continue to apply something like that? Your data is already there. Okay. So through this, because they're easy to collect the data, right? So they will go through one credit card approval system, right? Which means that they use machine learning to filter to see that whether all of the features, for example, occupations, number of dependencies, age, location, and so on, they just lump in. Then they just try to filter whether this is qualified to get the credit card or not. Okay, if let's say it's rejected, then you will receive the SMS very fast. Okay, try to imagine if let's say one bank, 1 day receive 1,000 applications. If the machine can help it to filter out 500, so it can save 50% of the time already, right? So then those 500 pass, then maybe we'll only route to the personnel in order to have a second filter, something like that. They can save a lot of time. Okay, the process become very efficient. Okay, so that's why the HQ is always applied for this kind of system. So there's no longer that when you have more saving, right? When you have more savings, so you can get a credit card. No, they apply in every single features, right? Included the features that I just mentioned just now. Okay, so that's why there's someone said that it's easier to get a credit card if let's say you have a car loan, something like that, because they can track your repayment record. See, if let's say they can track your repayment record, good or bad, in the record, so they will, you will be a more trustable customer. You won't like drag the, installment or something, right? So this is how they work. So that's why you have the secrets report as well, right? So when you how many credit cards you have, then how many loans you have, everything in your secrets report. They record everything. And it's not only record in that bank only, you know. So sometimes your information will be leaked to another bank. Then you will find that, why I applied for the yellow color bank, then the blue color bank contact me in order to offer a more valuable package, something like that. Because your data is being shared, right? So once you key in, so that's why we have one component called cybersecurity, right? That's why the hacker can always hack your account, something like that, right? So you have to protect your data very well, especially when you have a free Wi-Fi. You don't be too happy, especially that you have some free charger, right? So to charge your phone, you don't be too happy. Okay, so if let's say your data is already leaked through that platform, maybe you are not so aware. Okay, so try to make your data safer, okay, especially for privacy data. Okay, so learning, machine learning, the good things is they not only build the models for the first time, but they are improve themselves over time because they can learning from the examples. Okay, so how they improve? Because the data become more and more, right? So they will recognize their mistake. Actually, they try to improve. That's why what I say for the Waze, Grab, and also for the Google Translate, you can see the accuracy is actually increased. But don't you think that why we cannot get 100% accuracy? Because in this world, nothing is 100%. At least until now, I cannot find something is 100%. How about how about that? Your gender, right? Okay, like I'm male and you are female. It's quite obvious, right? But how about that? How many percent is actually male and how many percent is actually female? Right, my wallet no money. Okay, that one you still have a chance to earn it. Okay, so that one is not 100% as well. So like for example, your gender, right? Your genetic actually is not 100%. If let's say like your parents and you about the DNA, right? So the DNA won't show 100% as well. Maybe they will show that, like 92%, right? So how about that? The advertisement of for the detergent, they will only dare to commit, I will going to kill 99.999% of the bacteria, but they are not dare to declare 100%. Okay? So same as stats lah. That's why stat inference, you have the confidence intervals, right? Why we need the confidence intervals 95%, 90%, something like that? It's because that nothing is 100%. They cannot commit. Am I right? So nothing is 100%. So if let's say your machine learning models can hit 85% and above, it's good enough already. For the first version, 85%, so maybe improve over time, it will become 86, 87, 90 or something, right? So they will keep improving. Okay, so machine learning got some vocabulary, right? So it's like target features, example, and label. So when you have a stat backgrounds, so it's easier to understand. Target, you know, right? But you know dependent variable, am I right? So dependent variable in stats means the target in machine learning. The target column is a column to predict, right? For example, the credit card approval system, so the target column will be whether the status of the approval. Okay, this is called target column. So the features is something that used to predict the target. For example, your age or something, as I mentioned just now, salary, number of dependency, marital status, and so on. That one is called as features. Okay, in stats, we call as independent variable. Okay, then example is not that I give you one of the examples. Example means that one row. It's like in stats, it's called as how many rows that you have, how many respondents that you have, how many observations that you have. That one is called as example in machine learning. Okay, so the label is actually the target value for a single data point, which means that inside the columns, for example, the status of approval, then we have target, we have approve and reject, right? So that one is our label, which means that we have two labels in that particular target column. Okay, so why we need to use a different term? It's okay one. If let's say you want to use the independent variable, dependent variable, also no problem. It's just that when you heard someone say that, oh, I have like 5 features, what about the target? Something like that, then you know that actually they are talking about the machine learning. project, right? So they are not called as project as well. They call as use case. So use case is not the case studies. So when you heard about I have 2 use case, it's not the old. I mean, they doesn't mean for the old cases. Okay, so I have 2 use cases, which means that they have 2 projects, 2 machine learning projects. Okay, so up to this point, any questions? Everything good? Good, thumbs up so that I can continue. At least I have motivation to continue. Okay, then this is the UCI machine learning repository dataset called Iris dataset, right? So you are going to hands-on this dataset, I mean, in the following week as well. So you can see that if let's say I want to predict the species, so I have how many species? Versicolors, Virginica, and Setosa, right? So the whole species is called as a target. Then my sample length, sample width, petal length, and petal width can use to predict the species. Then this is the features. Then each row is actually called as an example. So how many examples that I have in this diagram? Anyone? How many examples I have in this diagram? No, 4 is features. Example is means for 1 row. Yes, Shiu, correct. You have 10. We have 10 examples here. So how many labels that we have? Three labels, correct. It's Virginica, Versicolors, and Setosa, right? So through this diagram, it's easier to let you remember about the machine learning vocabulary. Okay, so we have 2 main types of the machine learning techniques. It's called as a supervised and unsupervised. Suppose we have a newer type called reinforcement learning, but as an entry level, I think supervised and unsupervised is more than enough, and most of the conditions business analytics is deal with the supervised learning. Okay, supervised is something that we know about the outcomes already. How can we know about the outcomes? Something like the credit card approval application. So what's the answer will you get? Either approve or reject only. You already know that the answer will be either approve or reject. You already know that these 2 answers only. So that one is called as a supervised learning. Okay, so when you want to predict a house price, you confirm know that the answer must be in number because it's a house price, right? So that one is called as a supervised learning. Okay, so what is unsupervised learning? So unsupervised learning is something that you don't know about the answer, especially that, for example, you produce one product, but you don't know that actually who likes it. You cannot say that I confirm know that actually it's human. Maybe not, maybe got some other animals as well. You are not sure, right? Okay, so yeah, correct. It's a not labeled data. In a scientific term, it's called as a not labeled data. But I cannot all using the scientific term in order to explain to you one, right? So I have to use some of the layman term, right? So in this case, normally for the customer segmentation, like for the market segmentation, so they will use unsupervised learning. Okay, in order to see how many clusters. Okay, maybe your product will be liked by a group of humans that like to wear the red shirt. Or maybe it's a group of humans that with long hairs, right? So maybe it's a group of humans with a brown eyes. We don't know how many clusters that we have, right? So this one we will use unsupervised learning. So machine learning techniques is not the type. This is a type only. Okay, so this is a type, which means that you just try to imagine one house. So this is the wall and the rooftop. Okay, it's in one house. So in one house, actually got many rooms, right? Okay, so the rooms is actually called as a machine learning algorithms or machine learning techniques, right? So in each of the room, in supervised actually got 2 rooms. Okay, so the one room is called regression and one room is called classification. Okay, so regression actually is something like when you want to predict the numbers. For example, I want to predict the house price, I want to predict the blood pressure value, my height, my weight, and so on. Everything is in number. We go for regression. If let's say I want to predict the text, text means what? In words, for example, yes, no, true, false, approve, reject. That one, like Versinica, Setosa, and Versicolors, that one is called categorical output. That one we use classification. Okay, so in unsupervised, there's one room called clustering. We have k-means and hierarchical clustering as a very common techniques. Okay, then each of the room actually they have a different techniques as well. For example, linear regression, regression tree, supervised regression, and so on. Then we have Navier, logic regression, KNN, and so on. So you will learn this one by one. Include the ensemble, random forest, extra tree classifiers, and so on. Okay, so this one you will learn during your hands-on session. Today, if you don't understand, it's totally normal because this is the first time that you touch on these terms. But I mean, along the semester, then you will get the meaning little by little. Okay, so by end of the semester, you should know when to use that and when to use this. Okay, you need to know the techniques. At least you need to equip with some of the knowledge before you want to use it. Okay, tools is just a tools. Okay, the tools can perform everything. Even you use the wrong technique, you apply the categorical output into the regression, you will get the answer as well. It's just like you use SPSS, right? The non-parametric test, you use the parametric test, you will get the answer as well. It's just that the answer is the incorrect answer, not accurate answer, right? So as I always mention, like just like when you want to learn data visualization, Power BI, a Tableau is just a tool. Everyone can use it. I can just watch the YouTube for a while, then I can know how to use the tools already. If let's say I just want to learn it through online. But the problem is you need to know when to use this and when to use that. Okay, so the techniques that you are going to use, this is the important part that you have to equip. Yeah. So I give you some of the example of the classification. Okay, give you one. Ask you one of the question. For this diagram, is regression or classification? Anyone? Regression, very good. Okay, so for this diagram, is regression or classification? Classification. Okay, great. At least you understand. Very good. Yes, I'm so happy, right? So for the classification, I give you one of the example is a spam mail detection, right? So now actually it's something like you, of course, you have the email address. So the email address, actually you have the two inbox, right? One is a normal inbox, one is a spam file inbox. Okay, previously, if let's say you have the spam mail, so it would direct send to the spam file. So the email server will actually provide the guide to the unlabeled data and make it label in the data stream. So actually they just try to separate, right? But actually this system could be improved by user feedback. So how you feedback to the email system, right? So sometimes you receive some email, you never read it, you just delete it. And sometimes they ask you whether this is a spam message, then you click yes. So in future, you won't receive that kind of email already. Okay, so but this is how they improve. Okay, but sometimes they found that actually the good email sent to the junk box, right? So but a normal human won't properly check the junk box one, right? You are not I'm so free today, I just go to click my spam file to see whether there's a good email. Impossible, right? Is when you receive a call from someone that, hey, 3 days ago, actually I have sent an important email to you. Have you received it or not? Or maybe it's in my junk box. Then you only check it, right? So this system is keep improving, right? So it's not perfect, of course, because nothing is 100%. So that kind of action that you have taken, right? Actually, they recorded into the email server, right? So that's why, especially when they spam the email, when they found that the email address got a lot of numbers. Okay, so any one of you didn't mute your mic? Yes, Mohammed Idris, you have something to ask? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so now they found that actually now the China's email, right? So especially from China, the China's email contains like 163QQ or something, right? They have a lot of numbers. Of course, they cannot like ban all of the emails, right? So in this case, they try to improve. You are still able to receive the email, but then they will have one bracket remind you that they have a spam message there. Okay, they just try to remind you that okay, maybe this is a potential spam email, but now I'm in your inbox, right? So if let's say you reply to the email and so on, so maybe that this is not the spam mail, so you can continue to receive that kind of email. Okay, so maybe they will ask you that whether this is a spam email or not. So if you click yes, then you won't receive anymore. So my advice is, especially for Chinese student, right? So if let's say you want to send email to your respective lecturer, right? So you use the USM email, will be safer. Okay, it's not that your email is not good, I just want to declare that it's not that your email got problem, it's that the education institution email will be very, very sensitive. I mean, industry is even sensitive, right? So they will like reject or filter up some of the email. So sometimes that when you send the email, actually we are not receiving it. We are unaware that we have this kind of email. And at the end of the story is you are always waiting, then we are not receiving the email, then you are still waiting, we are still not replying, something like that, right? So the best thing is you just use your USM email to send, okay? Okay, so for the regression, I give the jet engine remaining useful life estimation. So any one of you had, be a pilot or something, or you have your own private jet or something. Okay, maybe I give one of the very close applications in our daily life. So how about the electrical appliances? How about the smartphone, the smart TVs, right? So you may find that why the old products can last for so long. Like your grandmother TVs can actually last for 30 years. But now when I purchase a smart TV, it only can last for 5 to 7 years. Right? So it's not because of the quality of the product downgraded, it's because that the focus is different. Okay, previous 30 years ago, the focus is, if let's say your product can long lasting, so you will have a trustable customer, then you will have a loyalty customer in order to purchase the same product from you, right? So, but now in the generation, Z or millennial or generation Y, they are more focusing on the function. So now you buy a car, you are more focused on the spec of the engine, you are more focused on the accessory rather than whether this car is safe or not, right? So it's like you use a smartphone, you are not really focused on the design, maybe you're focused on the function and how the apps could be used and how is the internal, spec or something, right? So in this case, they are not really have a need in order to produce something with long lasting, because like I introduce every year for the smartphone, so there's a long queue and a lot of demands, right, from the customer, and customer exchange the phone like once per 2 years, something like that. Okay, so why in this case I still need to produce something that very long lasting, right? Okay, so in this case, they already know when they produce the products, they already know that actually how many years that this product is probably can last for. For example, like for example, like the cooking pot, okay? Like cooking pot actually can last for 5 years, right? So then they provide you the warranty of 2 years. After that, they make promotion when you add 100 ringgit, so you will get extra 2 years, total up 4 years. So as a customer, of course, we are get attracted by this kind of things, right? So we will like add 100 because cooking pot already, cost 1,000, for example, so I add 100, I can have 4 years warranty. It will be safer, so I will like purchase, extend the warranty, right, by paying extra 100. But they already know that actually this product can last for 5 years, So now you are giving extra 100 for them, in this case. Right, so after 4 years, then your cooking pot start have some problems already. Right, so yeah, you may ask that actually some of the customer really successful claim the warranties. Right, so but actually nothing is 100%, as I mentioned. When you manufacture 1,000 products, right, so maybe like 5 is defect, it's a defect item. Yeah, the customer can claim the new cooking pot, but 500 of them actually is enrolled for your 100 package. So in this case, the benefits is larger than the cost already, right? So as a businessman, of course, they will use this kind of strategy in order to gain the more income, right? So now the phone, actually, they are not really care for whether it can last long or not, but instead they focus on the heat test. They know that now the young people like to drop their phone unintentionally on. Right, walking also can drop the phone, and walking also can drop the phone. So the heat test, they actually very concerned of, and they do it very, very well. if you try to imagine previously when the smartphone introduced, when it just drop on the floor, then the smartphone cannot be used already. But for now, right, you just purchase a moderate smartphone. When you drop for so many times, it still could be used. So you can see the improvement. Am I right? Okay, so this is they are using the machine learning as well. So the process to implement the machine learning from end to end, of course, you need to have the data as well. So you have to come to the pre-processing stage, just like we have to clean the data, something like that, using some of the library like Matplotlib, NumPy, and Pandas, right? Like mentioned by our friends. So we will exploit in the data pre-processing stage. Then after that, you are going to apply the machine learning models, not only one model, but a few models. Okay, a few models because machine learning is by experiment. You cannot go shortcut. I cannot say that, okay, this method is the best. Why is the best? Because I think it's the best. That's why I apply only one method. That I declare that this is the best. Cannot. You have to apply a lot of methods, then after that you choose the best model. Okay? Best model, we will say as a golden or the champion model. Okay, so that champion model only deploy to the application. The story not yet end. After application, right? For example, your data is in finance. So after that, you change your data to the supply chain one. You have to rerun about the process. You cannot say that, oh, this perform the best in finance. Of course, it will perform the best in supply chain as well. Cannot. You have to start over again for the process. So your objective for this course is I'm going to lead you. I'm going to bring you in order to start from the data import until the application. Okay, the end-to-end process, you will learn it. So when you learn for this whole process, then you can start your own project already in future. Okay? Okay, so this is the details. So I'm going to teach you how to split the data, something like that. So why we need to split the data. So what is the features engineering, include the feature selection using the different model, then how to build the model, how to tune the parameter, this and that. So this is a whole picture that you are going to learn along the semester. Okay, but it's after the midterm break because machine learning is the last 7 weeks. So the first 7 weeks we focus on Python first. Okay, so classifications, evaluations. So why we need to have the evaluations metric? Why? Anyone? Why we need to have the evaluations metric? What is the purpose of the evaluations metric? No answer. Because we need to know that how good this model was. Am I right? If let's say just that you just take exam, right? You take exam, so there's no results. You still want to take or not? Right? So you take exam, there's no results. Of course, I cannot know that whether you perform well in your exams or not. Right? So of course, I need to assess your exam papers, right? So how to assess? Of course, I need to have one set of the evaluations metric in order to see whether this exam papers is good or not. Right? So that evaluations metric is called as a grading system. So when you got A, so you perform well. So you got C-, so you perform not so well. Something like that, right? So of course, when you build the machine learning models, you also want to know that whether this model is the best model. That's why we need to have the evaluations metric. Okay, so there's a difference between classifications and regression because they have different output. Classifications, the output is in text, in words, right? Regression is in numbers, so they are impossible to use the same method. Okay, so classifications, we need confusion metric, and this one I'm going to explain deeper, right, in the following class. Okay, so we have 4 main components, where these 4 main components actually are used to compute the formulas of the accuracy. You can see the component here, right? So the T1 is the best one. It's a good side. The F1 is a bad side. Okay, so if you have more Tn and Tp, which means that your accuracy will be higher. Because when you look at the formula, Tp over Tn divided as overall, right? So you can see that this one will be, which means that you have a big portions of Tp and Tn, so you will get a higher accuracy. Of course, the higher the accuracy, the better. Am I right? So it's not only accuracy, it depends on the conditions like the precision, recall, and F1 score. Okay, so why we need to have so many evaluations method, right? So in machine learning, every single action and process, they have a few methods one. Okay, so they won't like only last for one method. Okay, just like when you come to school, right? Or when you go for work, you can buy car, you can buy bus, you can buy walk, you can buy LRT and so on, right? But after that, you arrive at the same destination, right? So for the evaluations, actually they have a few types. Of course, this one it's just a heads up for you. So after that, I will explain in detail during the hands-on session. Okay. So F1 score. Okay. So this is an example. So for regression, we are measuring the errors. Right. So the smaller the errors, the better. Which means that you can see actually the regression and classification evaluations metric is actually against with each other. Go beyond one, right? So accurate the classifications, the higher the value, the better, because they are measuring the accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. But the regression is measuring the error so that the number, the value, the lower the better. Okay, I have lower value, which means that I have lesser error. Okay, so if let's say you are good in stats, suppose that this kind of error is not new to you, right? Because you have an R squared or something mean square error, right? So this one is considered as a regression case evaluation. Okay, so tools for machine learning. So Anaconda, you already installed, right? So any one of you still haven't installed Anaconda, you can do it in this. Okay, so let me explain. So now you are Python is Python actually is not a tool. Python is actually a programming language. Just like we cannot call English as a tool. Right? English is ABC, 26 alphabet, right? You cannot call it as a tool, right? English is a language. So Python is also a language. But how you learn English? How you write the English word? Okay, maybe you type, okay, in your laptop, maybe you write on a piece of paper. Just use a very simple one, right? When the first time you learn English, of course, you are not using the laptop, right? When the first time you learn English, you are write it on a piece of paper, right? Okay, so in Python, we need that piece of paper, but they are not called as paper. They call as environment. Okay, of course, we have a lot of types of environments, right? So just like a paper could be in various color as well, right? Then actually environments, we have a lot of types. And Jupyter Notebook is one of the environment. Okay, so you may ask that why I'm only, opt for Jupyter Notebook. It's not like Jupyter Lab, SkyPy, or something. The the spider, right? The spider Oracle. So we have a lot of the environment, right? PyCharm also, right? So why I'm using Jupyter Notebook? Because you cannot learn all at the same time. Okay, Jupyter Notebook has a very user-friendly interface. Okay, that's why I choose it. Then at least that when you learn something technical, right, you write the code so you may not fail asleep. Right, so if I give you the command prompt, right, something is in black colors, like you watch a movie, so when you write the code, everything is in the same color one, so you will get bored very fast. Okay, especially for the first time learner. Okay, so just try to master it, right? So after you master 1, 2, then after that you only try for others. Okay, Jupyter Notebook is the environment. Then what is Anaconda? Anaconda is a platform that stores the library. Okay, you are not a computer science student, okay? So you are not going to scratch your head in order to write the whole code by yourself. Not a lot of the experts already save the code. Just like in library, you have a lot of the reference book. Then in Python library, actually they have a lot of the ready code. You just need to call out them, use them, and apply it. This is what I want because you can direct apply it, right? So the code is already there. So where the library, if let's say you want to install the library, so Anaconda actually consists the library. So some of the library, if you didn't go through Anaconda, you have to install stuff every time. Okay, so when go through Anaconda, everything is in one package already. Easier for you to hands on. Okay, so Anaconda is a library platform that stores the library. Jupyter Notebook is an environment, right? Correspond to a piece of paper. Then Python is actually a language, correspond to an English language. Just think that you are learning English, right? Just that this is the programming language only, right? So R and Python are the same. Okay, R has a very strong library as well. Why Python and R is the two most popular programming language in data science? Is because that both of them has a very strong library. R got R Studio, right? Python got Python library, right? So you can learn Python first. After that, you master Python. You can switch to R. A code may be a little bit different, but almost the same. Okay, you know how to write Python code. Suppose you know how to write the R code already. Okay, RapidMiner is a drag and drop tools, which means that it's like SPSS is a MATLAB, Minitab, something like that. I mean, it's PLSEM, where you just click and drop only. Okay, RapidMiner is specifically designed for the machine learning. Okay, I can say that SPSS is for statistical analysis, but RapidMiner is mainly designed for machine learning. But it's meaningless lah. I can say that if let's say you want to learn machine learning, if let's say you start with the drag and drop tools, you learn nothing one. Okay, at least you need to go through the suffering part. Then when after that you master it, you use back to the drag and drop tools, then you will learn more. Okay, at least that you can apply the project by yourself lah. You know that about the pain points or how to deal with it. Okay, so if let's say Anaconda you cannot install, you can consider to use Google Colab. Google Colab is called as a collaborative laboratory. I mean from Google. Yes, KNME also a very good tools. Like Weka also a very good tools as well. Right, so different a lot. I can say that we have a lot of the machine learning type tools, but I cannot introduce all, right? So if let's say you cannot use Anaconda, you can use the Google Colab as well, because Google Colab interface is almost same with the Jupyter Notebook, and they are saved in the same type file. Okay, so it's easier for you to use. So if let's say I have time, I will hands on the Google Colab to introduce about these tools as well. Okay, so up to this point, any questions? Any questions you want to ask? Yes, Mohammed Idris, I'm quite sure that you have the background, right? I mean, your academic background, is it from computer science? I can feel that you know a lot. No, project will be next week. Okay, yeah. I think this week you absorb. Last 3 months I suffered, but okay, you suffer with 3 months, which means that this 4 months, the 4th month, suppose you already can handle it very well already. Okay, so I don't worry about your performance for this course. So I think lots of the other courses also introduce about the project, so I just don't want to burden you so much. So I will explain it from next week. Midterm, yes, we will have a midterm test, maybe after the midterm break. When the midterm, I think it's mostly on week 9 or week 10. Okay, so I will deal with Dr. Jasmine. So if let's say it's crash, she also want to do it in week 10, so I will remove, I will move from maybe 11 or 9, okay? When do we search for a group? So next week I will, explain about the group project, then I will give you a link, then you can start to search for the group already, okay? Attendance for this week conventional mode, I will mark for you. Don't worry. So next week onwards, so you need to mark yourself. I will enable the link in the eLearn portal so you can find the attendance link. Xiaoshen, okay. Midterm works, no need. I think for the midterm test, it's only the multiple choice questions. Okay, you know how to answer, then you know already. But for the final exam, is the structured questions. You don't have a chance to use the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, you cannot use the tools. In the final exam, you cannot use the computer tools as well. Okay, you have to, try to interpret yourself, try to read the code, try to write the output yourself. EDA process. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I will apply some of the package from the libraries. So maybe from there you can inspire some idea from there. So maybe you can solve your problem. Okay. The slide for today I will post to the portal. Okay. Change to Tuesday class. Yes, you can change. Yeah, I prefer you go to Tuesday class if let's say that you are the full-time students. can. If let's say you know other tools like PyCharm or something, so you want to use that also for your project, also no problem. You can proceed. Right? I won't restrict you to use one tool, but for the entry level, I will only teach one tool. Google Sheet. Next week, I will share the Google Sheet. Not now, because not now you will like something like very crazy to find for members or something like post in the group. I don't encourage them but I mean I cannot stop you So but I don't encourage that kind of action. AI replace business analytics. Business analytics is part of AI actually. So when you want to learn AI, you also need to learn business analytics as well. I mean, in the business environment, business process, business analytics is a must, and most of the company is using that. Not necessary, because AI actually can produce a lot of tools. Then when you know how to use that kind of tools, even though you have a moderate mathematics background, you can also handle it very well. A small mistake like identification and everything, so I will tolerate. Okay, so I will tolerate that kind. I'm not like strict that much, exactly 100% the same, because nothing is 100%. Right, so I will tolerate, I will still give you correct, unless you like modify, defer a lot or deviate a lot, so I will give you the wrong answer. I will give your answer wrong. Sabrina, you are from ODL or conventional? Sabrina? Zero knowledge can master Python. If let's say you really put effort, I think 1 year you can settle already. Okay. Yeah, Sabrina, conventional ODL, I'm fully handled for ODL. But for the conventional class, we split into two. So Dr. Hanan and me will, both handle for a few weeks. So Dr. Hanan will only handle for the conventional class. Sabrina, okay? So in future, when face to face, right? So you will meet Dr. Hanan, okay? So, but for the ODL class, all will be under me. Okay, no more question. Everything good? Okay, so if good, so the recording video will be upload within 2 to 3 days right? So after that, you don't worry, you don't need to chase me like after 1 hour. You just ask that, hey, where is the recording video or something? Don't chase me Okay, so I will do my part. I will make sure that before next class, everything for this week will be settled. Okay. You won't forget something like, if let's say you got practice it from time to time as a practitioner, you won't forget the process. Even though you forget, right? So you recall for a little bit, then you can just recall off the process already. Tuesday is ODL. There is no ODL class for Tuesday. ODL class only for Friday. Okay? The Tuesday class is only for conventional mode. Okay? ODL is always for 6 to 9. We won't put 2 to 5 because we know that most of them are working adults. Okay, Albert, you don't aim for pass. You aim for at least A-, right? So you aim for A-, if let's say you cannot achieve, at least you can get B+. You aim for pass C+, then if let's say you cannot achieve, so you get C, then you have to retake the course. Not worth Albert. You try to, aim for a higher grade. You can do that. Don't worry, because I'm here to build your basic. Okay, Albert. Then for others, okay, WebEx class for ODL. It depends on the cost right? It depends on the cost, but I will try my best in order to provide more live class, so that you can just, especially for the machine learning part, okay, so that you can learn faster But not my decision is not representing for other courses, right? The other courses you have to ask the course lecturer. They have the right to decide. Okay. Okay, no more. So thank you so much. So have a well rest, because tomorrow you still have a class, right? So I hope that you enjoy for my first class. Then I will see you on next week. Thank you so much. Bye bye.